It is now my belief that the federal government intends to charge me with crimes.
This just in, if you're obedient to tyrants and then you stop being obedient to them, they will eat you up. Welcome back to the JP React Channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. This is where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants and Satan, shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters, because truth conquers. Hot off the news desk, New York Mayor Eric Adams is being charged with crimes by the federal government after a months-long investigation. Now, is this pure corruption? Is he actually guilty of these crimes? Or is the federal government going after him because he stopped playing ball to their tyrancy? I'll share a little bit of the story with you, and then I will give you my strong opinion on what the answer is to that question. But first, checking in with OAN News for the information of this story. New York City Mayor Adams faces 5 charges, including bribery and wire fraud, spanning nearly a decade. Weird how the federal government would potentially persecute someone. Not that they've done that to Trump. What was it? 94 felony charges? That's fine. Mayor New York Adams, as I sometimes call him, only 5 charges. So you can see he's not their public enemy number one. You know, when the public is your enemy, you got to have some public enemies. Now let's hit the high level. What are these charges? In 2017, Adams accepted a heavily discounted stay at the St. Regis Istanbul, owned by a businesswoman who sought to integrate herself with Adams, the indictment says. Now, okay, wow, the federal government prosecutes crimes like that. What's Biden's bank account say all those wire transactions to Ukraine are for? That, well, he got a discount on a hotel. Well, I mean, he still paid, but it was heavily discounted. I think we got to go after this guy. Yeah. Let's get him. As I'm not a lawyer, I'm just going to have faith that, let's just say he broke the law here. The fact that they are going after him for it, that's suspicious. And it goes on. They claim the mayor sought and accepted improper valuable benefits, such as luxury international travel, including from wealthy foreign business people, and at least one Turkish government official seeking to gain influence over him. Improper valuable benefits. Hey, Nancy Pelosi, how's the stock portfolio looking? Pretty good, huh? Keep it up. Well, gonna take Adams down. It also says investigators claim Adams solicited and accepted illegal straw donations from Turkish nationals. And federal agents have conducted a series of raids targeting Adams' close inner circle in recent weeks. Cool. What did Adams stop playing ball with regard to these tyrants and their agendas? Immigration. How's that happen? And we'll hear from Eric Adams himself in just a second, see evidence of this. But back in the day, you know, when they're kind of like, should we close the border? And all the leftists were saying, no, don't close it. We need sanctuary cities. And Eric Adams was on the front line of that lunacy, saying New York is a sanctuary city. Then Southern state governors said, all right, cool. Everyone the federal government's letting in, we'll send them to you. Then Eric Adams had to face the reality of an absolute humanitarian crisis that creates a crisis for the city of New York. Once he was faced with that reality, he stopped doing his talking puppet leftist propaganda like he was supposed to. Sanctuary cities, there's nothing wrong with this. And said, no, there is a problem with this immigration. We have to do something. And you'll hear what he has to say in just a second. But you can probably imagine the leftist tyrannical government didn't like that, because for some reason they're wanting to flood our country with anyone and everyone. Open borders. I guess we got to put them somewhere. But we're having trouble with New York because the mayor is raising a fuss. Eric Adams fall back in line and he says, no, this is a problem. So giving Eric Adams the benefit of the doubt, it could be that he has enough integrity. Well, first off, it could be he has not enough integrity where he was doing this leftist propaganda. The guy's not dumb. He knows this would be a problem. He said, yeah, we're a sanctuary city. Then he's faced with that reality like, oh crap, they're actually going to do it. But he has enough integrity to say, the city I love and the people who I love that live here, this will destroy our city. This has to stop. So benefit of the doubt would say Mayor Eric Adams has enough integrity to start standing on some principles after he was not standing on his principles. And that's what the federal government potentially doesn't like, specifically the tyrants that have infiltrated the federal government. We'll get back to the video in just a second, but first, I think we've all been reminded quite a bit lately that it's important to stay sharp, whether you're running a country or just running your own household. From my perspective, no matter how old you are, we can't let the years slow down our mental game. Whether you're 35 or 85, you can choose to be at your best. If you've noticed your brain feels a bit foggy lately as you age, it's time to clear the cobwebs. And I can't think of a better way to do it than with my daily dose of Mushroom Breakthrough from Bioptimizers. Mushroom Breakthrough packs a powerful punch with 4 cognitive enhancing mushrooms: chaga, reishi, cordyceps, and lion's mane, plus collagen for extra brain support. The lion's mane in particular can increase your levels of BDNF, a protein that helps your brain cells grow. Know any politicians that could use that? Well, don't be one of them. Now, this is crucial for your memory and learning, which typically declines as you age. So Mushroom Breakthrough is like fertilizer for your brain. On top of these incredible benefits, it's also delicious. I love all 3 flavors. You can choose to be at your best, so give Mushroom Breakthrough a try. Go to bioptimizers.com/JPReacts and use the discount code AWAKEN to get 10% off your Mushroom Breakthrough. Your future self will thank you for it. Now back to the video. Now let's hear from Eric Adams himself about this. By the way, this is him trying to get ahead. Apparently this was a pre-recorded video. He knew these charges were coming. So in the beginning of the video, he said, I think the federal government will be charging me. Well, they have. So this was released just this morning as of today, Thursday, September 26th. I'm sorry, this was released yesterday. So as of now, when this is reaching you, maybe new information is out there, but this is like the foundation of information. So Eric Adams, let's hear from your mouth why you think the federal government is charging you with crimes.
My fellow New Yorkers, it is now my belief that the federal government intends to charge me with crimes. If so, these charges will be entirely false, based on lies.
Now again, remember the question I asked in the beginning of the video that I'll give my answer to in just a second is, these federal charges from the Tyrants, are those true and valid, or are they just trying to take down someone who they think is supposed to do the bidding of their agenda, but he's falling out of favor, so the left is eating their own? In other words, they're politically persecuting them. Which one do you think it is right now?
But they would not be surprising. I always knew that if I stood my ground for all of you, that I would be a target.
Wow, I like those bold words. I always knew if I stood my ground for you, New York, as in calling out the immigration crisis, this has to stop, doing that on behalf of New Yorkers, that he knew he would be a target. Wait, the federal government doesn't target anyone, do they? I think I'm on a blacklist currently. Was the federal government working with Twitter and Facebook, instructing them on who to censor and who to deplatform? I guess they do a little bit of targeting.
And a target I became. For months, leaks and rumors have been aimed at me in an attempt to undermine my credibility and paint me as guilty. This past week, they searched the home of our new police commissioner, looking for documents from 20 years ago.
Yeah, they're doing a little digging, eh? A little fishing expedition.
Just 1 week after he joined my administration. Enough. I will fight these injustices with every ounce of my strength and my spirit.
Yeah, he'll fight the injustices. Maybe he'll get the same Manhattan judge that Trump got. We'll see how that goes for him. Now, here's Mayor Eric Adams from New York from a little while back, presumably at like a city council meeting in New York, standing his ground, speaking out against the immigration crisis, saying it will literally destroy the city. And that's not hyperbole. He talks about how it will actually destroy the city. This is a reality. Cities will be destroyed if floods of illegal people are just allowed into our country. And that's not even taking account the fact that there are dangerous criminals amongst them. So this might have been something that raised the federal government's eyes and said, we've got to stop him. So what was that discounted hotel he got? That sounds like something we got to protect the public from.
Support. And let me tell you something, New Yorkers. Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City.
Okay, but how?
We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. One time we were just getting Venezuela. Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian-speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City. And everyone is saying it's New York City's problem.
New York City doesn't have a southern border. It's a problem for saying we're a sanctuary city, but also, of course, people all over the world who want to come here illegally. Of course, they have New York City as like a beacon on their American radar. So it is a New York City problem, but it is a problem caused by the federal government, who has literally sued Texas for trying to enforce the border.
The community in this city is going to be impacted. We got a $12 billion deficit that we're going to have to cut every service in this city.
So that's how it can be destroyed. We have a $12 billion deficit. How do we possibly even begin to pay for it? We have to cut every single service in this city. New York City is chaotic as it is, but could you imagine Gotham City times 100? If New York City has to cut every single service, public transit, police, sanitation, just for a few, it literally would destroy the city. It would be mass chaos. It would be, I think it's already a third world living condition, just with bright lights and beautiful billboards. Do you want to go to a show? Yeah, let's step over these corpses. But it would be such a third world city. It would not be a city. It would be a former city in a current apocalypse if every single city service had to be cut, just trying to pay for the housing, the food, all the things that they're forced to pay for by the federal government because 10,000 illegals a month are flooding to New York. Now that the federal charges have been waged against Mayor Eric Adams, he took to the podium in a rain-soaked New York City today. Now, I'm going to play this. You'll get no usable information from Eric Adams in this very short video, but you will notice people are there deliberately to disrupt him. It seems like they're agitators. And at the beginning, the guy says, I'm the BLM head and you're something on a megaphone. And this just reeks of the pattern of behavior from hired agitators out to disrupt and silence and make people that the tyrants aren't in favor of look bad. That's why I'm showing it to you. Take a look.
Black Lives Matter parade in New York saying that this is not a black day. This is not a black day. This is a youth day. This is a youth day, Eric Adams. This is not a black day. Your policies are anti-black.
Okay, car honking relentlessly. That could have been on purpose. But the guy on the megaphone, paid agitator, paid protester, maybe federal government wouldn't do anything like that. Hey, how come all those people at January 6th are FBI folks? Well, we didn't say they're the FBI, but they are. So who paid them to be here? The Federal Bureau of Investigation? They wouldn't be paid by the federal government to be here, would they? And lastly, before I give my verdict on all of this, let's see one more example of Eric Adams becoming more based than the tyrants would possibly allow anyone under their control to be.
And another significant part of the video was at the end. That's our flag, folks. Don't take over our buildings and put another flag up. That may be fine to other people, but it's not to me.
Wow, so that's Eric Adams talking about schools and buildings that are putting up non-American flags, like Palestinian flags. Interesting. That's something, well, you know, the tyrannically mind-controlled left is all in favor of. Like, we should actually not allow American flags. They should be Palestinian, Ukrainian, LGBTQian. We need those flags. But Eric Adams is saying, no, that's not okay with me. And that's certainly not falling in line with the tyrants. So is this just another example of him becoming an actual man, still has room to grow, but becoming an actual man, standing his ground, standing on his principles, looking at the tyrants and saying, no, I can't sell out to you anymore. I don't know. So the concluding question, my freedom-loving friends, do you think Eric Adams is guilty of these 5 charges or even any of them? Or do you think the federal government is just politically persecuting him, using him as an example, a target to show everyone else, here's what's going to happen to you if you don't do our bidding? My best guess at that is yes. I think it's probably both. I doubt there's many high-level politicians without some dirt in their closet. And by the way, this dirt, it's not great, but like a piece of the dirt is he accepted a hotel room at a big discount. Whereas like the Bidens, okay, all that foreign money, like we're not going to talk about that? No, we're not going to talk about that because Eric Adams accepted a discount on a hotel room. He still paid something, but he got a discount. It's against the rules. So I don't think the federal government is out sweeping around really with a fine-tooth comb, trying to find every major politician and crimes they've committed because they are obviously overlooking huge crimes. Does the federal government politically persecute people? Can you say Trump? 94 indictments, 30-some felonies, convictions. So there is absolutely a track record of the federal government politically persecuting people. By the way, no one falls out of line with the Tyrants agenda more than Trump. So we've seen how they've gone after Trump. And yes, a lot of politicians commit crimes. Granted, most of them more significant than what Mayor Adams is accused of. My best guess is both are true in this scenario. So let that be a message to you. If you ever fall in line with the tyrants, they will eat you up. They have no loyalty because they are soulless. They don't operate out of human dignity. They operate out of evil that says, you're useful to us as long as you do what we want you to do. Yeah, we'll like you. You'll be accepted. Then if you ever grow a thing called a conscience, they will eat you up as fast as they can. In fact, you're probably more of a threat to them if you're in line with them, then betray them, than someone who has just been not complying with them all along because you set an example showing other people how they can break the bonds of slavery with the tyrants. That's why I think Eric Adams is such a threat to the tyrants. But let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll look forward to seeing you on our next video. But until then, stay free.